Alright, so we are going to be working some Python. I'm actually right here on my website, by the way, go to math.com. But anyhow, let's go ahead and click on the Python shell here, and we're going to write our very first Python program, because I like to do programming with Python, and I thought maybe I'd just go ahead and let's see, recent files actually. Okay, let me bring this down here so you can see what's going on, and I'm going to go ahead and start over here on this. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, you notice this pound sign here, it's for a comment. We're going to find the average of three numbers. Find the average of three numbers. Okay. Now you can also do ... and type in some stuff here for a comment, whatever this is, and you can actually go down to the next line and ... Okay, so this is a block comment right here, and this one here, just this pound sign, just covers this one line. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Alright, so we're going to start with variables. A variable is nothing more than a container that stores a data value, okay, that is stored somewhere within the computer's memory. Alright, so we're not going to really get into all the details on, we're not going to really dig down too deep on this stuff. I want to really focus on math, and okay, let's see, A, B, C, and we'll give this one, let's say 5. Okay, so here's a variable. We have assigned 2 to A, we've assigned 3 to B, and 5 we have assigned to C. Okay, and now we're going to take the sum. We're going to go ahead and create another variable, call it sum. Now I want you to see this. You see this is purple here? This is actually reserved as a keyword here, so we can't use that. Let's do a capital. How's that? We'll do a capital. And we can't use that A. That A is not the same as the other A. So A plus B plus C, right? We just summed it up, and now we're going to take the average. We'll just abbreviate it AVG here, and look, we're going to do this. Okay, put parentheses A plus B plus C divided by, now to find the average, right? Sum them all up and divide by the number of data points, and that would be 3. Alright, that would be 3. Now we got to print this out onto the screen, so we're going to say print. You can use single quotes or double quotes, doesn't matter which one you use. Let's say the average is, now there's a couple ways of doing this. We're going to go ahead and start with a comma here, and then we're going to say AVG. Alright, and we'll talk about another way of printing this thing out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and click up here where it says run. See where it says run, we're going to click on that. Okay, must save work. I think it's saved. Alright, see that? So we got the average is 3 point ... Now at some point in time we'll probably want to round this, right? Round it to 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place. We'll talk about rounding later, but don't worry about that right now. Okay, we're just trying to get the basics out of the way. So the average is this. Okay, here in the shell you could actually type this stuff in. A, B, we'll just come up with some random numbers here, C, and then you could say the sum equals A plus B plus C, right? And then we can say AVG is equal to the sum divided by 3, and then we can say AVG, and there it is. You see that? Wow. Okay, so this is in the shell right here. We're actually typing this stuff in. Okay, but most of the time we'll be doing it here. Now remember how we got this to come up. We came up here in the file and then clicked on new file, and that's how that came up. Alright, okay, this is where we're going to be writing our script in right here. Okay, so I said there was another way of doing this. We could go plus, now you'll have to type in str, which is short for string. What's going to happen is it's going to take this floating point number here, okay, which is avg, and it's going to convert it into a string, and then we're going to glue it, I guess you could say, on the end of this string here. So let's see how that works out. Let's see how that works out there. Alright, so as you can see here, we get the same thing out. Okay, same thing out. So what you'll want to do is write up some numbers, and define some variables like I've done here. Write up some kind of crazy formula of some kind, whatever you want to do, and then just kind of mess around and experiment with this stuff. Now, before I go here on this, we're going to talk about these variables. We could have called this one A1. You could have called this B1. So we could put a letter here and then numbers after if you want. Alright, but you can't put a number up front. Can't do that. Don't do that. Let's call this A2 and this one A3. Alright, and then of course we'd have to say A1, A2. Whoops. This is an A here. And A3. See that? A1. Oh, we're going to be doing some crazy stuff. I've got all kinds of stuff lined out for us. So we have A1, A2, and A3, but we got to get the basic stuff out of the way. We got to get it out of the way. Okay, so that's really important. Alright, got to get that stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and hit run on this. Let's see what we got coming up here. We got, okay, well it says the average is what? Well, that's because, let's just go ahead and put a comma here, AVG. We'll run it again. Okay, so we had the same thing, 3.333. So like I said, we'll be talking about rounding here coming up, but not right now. Now let me tell you something else about these variables here. Let's say that this one was also a 2. Okay. Well, for short, what we could do is we could say A1, A2. Let's just get rid of that. So as you can see here, 2 is being assigned to A2 and also to A1. So that's another way of doing this. There's also another way. Let's just go ahead and erase that right there. You could say A1, comma, A2, comma, A3, right, is equal to, and I can't even remember what those numbers were, but we'll say 1, 2, and 3. And now 1 is getting assigned to A1, 2 is getting assigned to A2, and 3, as you can see here, is being assigned to A3. Let's go ahead and run this. And anybody can guess on what the average is going to be on there. Right. The average is 2. Well, you can't see that, can you? Okay. So the average is, where is it? Still not on the screen. The average is 2.0. 2.0. Alright, 2.0. Now, this 2.0 is what's known as a floating point number. And to find out what type of variable this thing is, let's just do type, put a parentheses around it. See that? This is going to give the type of variable this thing is. So what do we got going on here? So as you can see here, this says a float. It is a float. Can you believe that? It's a float. Okay. And I don't know if you know what a float is, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about that right now. Alright. So try to define some variables, and like I have done, come up with some kind of formula, and then get an output there and see, experiment around with that. Okay. Alright, we got all kinds of stuff lined up for you, and we're going to start off with something real easy here, and we're going to get more complicated. Of course, we're going to be doing some crazy stuff. We're just going to need a few lines of code, and we're going to be solving some really complicated math problems, believe it or not. Okay, see you in the next tutorial.